Hello everybody, it is JR Fox. Thank you for joining me today. Today's video is actually not really an art lesson at all. It is an unboxing video. Today we are unboxing some Geneva Artists Oil Colors paint. Yeah, I got a box a couple weeks back and have just been waiting to open it with you guys. If you might be familiar with the YouTube channel Draw Mix Paint. The artist who does that channel, Mark, is amazing, and he is a great teacher as well. I'm a big fan of the channel, and I wanted to try out the paint that he's always talking about in his videos and share my experience with all of you. We're gonna open the box together, then we're gonna put out some of the paint on my palette and we'll look at it together. We'll mix some of it together. After that, we're going to use only the Geneva Artist Oil Color to paint a portrait, and we'll see how it goes. I'm really excited to try this out and to share this whole experience with you. If you haven't already, go ahead and, if you like the video, give it a like. If you don't like it, go ahead and give it a dislike. Consider subscribing. And without further ado, let's get started. Whoa, it's all nicely packed inside there, isn't it? Let's take this paper out. Ooh, the tubes are like bigger than I expected them to be. Here we have some literature. Oh. Why is the Geneva Burnt Umber so runny? What does this one say? Geneva Fine Art Supplies underfilled tubes. We fill our 100 milliliter tubes with at least 103 milliliters of paint. We fill our 50 milliliter tubes with at least 52 milliliters of paint. But we use 120 milliliter and 60 milliliter tubes. Therefore, your Geneva tubes of paint will appear to be underfilled. We do this intentionally because this makes it much easier to shake new tubes of paint. You will find it helpful to suck some air into the tube by pinching the sides with the top open and facing up. Yeah, don't have that tube facing down when you try to get air sucked up into it. After some air has entered the tube, reclose the lid and shake well before using. Striking the lid against a block of wood will shorten the mixing time significantly. That's interesting. Cool, good to know. What does it say about burnt umber being so runny? All pigments behave differently when mixed with oil paint medium. That's true. I end up usually mixing more linseed oil with my burnt umber and burnt sienna to make it dry slower. Burnt umber pigments specifically will over time set up and become thicker in the tube after a few months. Normally we allow our burnt umber time to thicken before we sell it, but due to a recent surge in demand, we have run out of burnt umber that has had time to thicken. Okay, so this is a new order then, eh? Maybe if you're buying this in the future, you won't get the same sort of message. We are currently shipping freshly made burnt umber. Although it is thinner, rest assured it is loaded with pigment and is ready to use. Mark actually prefers his paint runnier like the burnt umber is when it is fresh. Okay, yeah, I'm the same way. We will not have thickened burnt umber available for at least 2 months. They offer a refund if you don't like it too. That's cool. And this is probably just the details of my order. Yup, sure is. Great, thanks for the literature. Let's keep pulling these things out. Burnt umber, cadmium yellow, pyrrole-rubin, or rubine, titanium white, and French ultramarine. Those are the colors which constitute the Essential Palette. So the whole idea behind these paints which I have here is that they are all the paints that you need to mix almost any color out there. So without further ado, let's actually open it up and get some of this paint out on the palette and see what it looks like and kind of mess with it a little bit. Let's do titanium white first. Let's show you down here. This is what the tube looks like. This is what it looks like open. Doesn't resemble any other tube of paint I've ever used before. Oh wait, that's not true. Like, I think I've, like, some Liquitex acrylic paints look like this, but I've never had like some Liquitex acrylic paints look like this, but I've never had an oil paint on a tube like this. Let's see if it just squeezes out nicely. Let's put some over here. Let's see if any comes out. I don't want to push too hard. There could be like a little protect. Oh, yep. See, there's a little bit of a piece of oil here that we need to remove first. Interesting. Look how small the hole is. I don't think I've seen this small of a hole on any other tube of paint. I think the closest thing actually is like my tubes of Gamblin. Like, some of these Gamblin tubes have a smaller hole like that, as you can see, but this definitely is the smallest of the group. Okay, so let's go ahead and put some white. Ooh, it's soupy. That's cool. Wow, that is a consistency that I have never seen before. That's exciting. Let's bring out cadmium yellow. Okay. White runny. Okay, next, let's try red. We're gonna put red over here. So, just from the looks of this red, the color that looks here looks somewhere in between permanent rose color and burnt sienna. Huh, this one came out a little bit. Oh, what did they say about shaking? I was supposed to shake it. I didn't shake it. My bad, guys. Last two colors. I'm for sure gonna shake them before getting them out. Let's shake these ones that we've already opened up. Okay, that might explain a little bit why this is a lot thicker, whereas this one was soupy when it came out, right? We still have two more colors. I'm gonna shake these ones up really well. Get some of that air sucked into the tube before we just squeeze it out. So now we are looking at French Ultramarine. And let's see how this one comes out. Yep, there you go. You can really see how this is like sort of an in-between from the thickness of the red and the soupiness of the yellow. Looks like, yeah, you really ought to shake these things up before you just mess with them. Oh, this one's kind of like the yellow was, wasn't it? Okay, there we go. There we have all the colors in the Essential Palette. You might be now thinking, hey, why is that the Essential Palette when there's no black? Using the French Ultramarine and the Burnt Umber, mixing these two, you can get black. Check that out. So that actually, wow. I've tried mixing burnt umbers and ultramarine blue from other paint makers, expecting to get a black like this, but this is intense. I'm gonna go grab an ultramarine blue and another burnt umber and mix those to show you how different it is. Okay, so here I have ultramarine blue from M Gram. I love this paint too, and burnt umber from M Gram as well. And let's just compare how these ones look. Ultramarine blue, they're quite similar. M Gram's burnt umber. M Gram's burnt umber is definitely warmer, a little bit higher in value, just a little bit, but I feel like that's very clear to see. And let's try mixing those together and see if we can get like a black like you get with the Geneva paint. So make roughly the same amount of both paints. Go. And let's mix those together and see how they compare. These are both pretty dark. This almost feels like a Van Dyke brown to me. It's kind of a warm black. And now let's put some of the Geneva paint on this palette knife now. Yeah, this feels a little, just a touch darker, blacker, and that could be just like from the mix. In comparison, when you mix M Gram's burnt umber and ultramarine blue, you get almost like a Van Dyke brown, which I also really like. I use Van Dyke brown often. This is a Gamblin 1980 tube of Van Dyke brown. It's a warm black, if you're not familiar. The Geneva tube of paint is closer to ivory black or Mars black. Okay, so that was cool. Let's, this is like some gambling cobalt teal. I really doubt I can get like this intense of a turquoise by just mixing titanium white, cadmium white, and French ultramarine. I'll try though. We'll see how it goes. Ugh, I have to push so hard to get that to come out. All right, here we're getting closer to the right value, but as you can see, like the amount of saturation that our color has is so lacking, right? It's like I can add more blue, but that's going to drop the value. You know, even here we're like closer to the right hue, but the value is wrong, and that's okay. Like I said, this paint here is going to excel when it comes to things like on plein air painting, painting outside, doing a portrait, painting from life things. And then if you need to grab another tube of paint like this one for just some of those extreme colors, that is fine. I know there are a lot of artists there who like swear by only using a limited palette, but I feel a stronger inclination to prioritizing matching colors with your reference if you have the goal of painting realistically. Recently, I did a painting of a kingfisher bird, and I started out with a limited palette, and there was this teal color that I just could not match with the tubes of paint that I had. Like some of those feathers on like my reference image were so saturated and so high in value and was of a hue somewhere in between, you know, blue and green, and I had to go out and buy something like this. And that was the only way I could mix what I was seeing in the bird. I spent probably a good 30 minutes just trying to mix that one color. So just keep that in mind. When you are working from a limited palette, sometimes you have to make compromises. Either you're not going to get the intense colors that you are seeing, or you have to go out and buy a new tube of paint. And so I am going to be painting a portrait of a woman on a collage that I have prepared beforehand using only these paints here. I'm gonna leave all my other paint aside and see how it goes. If you'd like to skip this part of the video and just hear my final thoughts, go ahead and check out 16 minutes and 39 seconds. All right, so I have now finished the painting. Took about 2 2.5 days to finish painting. Here we go. I really like the end result. Now, my thoughts on using the Geneva paint. First thing was I really liked how easy this paint is to use. It's so easy to put a couple of blobs of paint down on your palette, and just with a brush you can mix a lot of colors and you can apply it really easily to your painting surface without needing to mix in other mediums and things to improve the flow of your brush. And I've had a lot of times when I have been painting, I wanted to do some detailed work with hair or wrinkles, and I could mix the color that I wanted to use, but sometimes when I would try to apply it to my painting surface, the paint wouldn't run for as long as I'd want it to. And with this paint though, like, I run into that problem less often. So I feel like I could paint quicker than normal because of how the paint is so soupy. That's something that I've been looking for. And when I buy paint from other companies, I've actually been adding a lot more linseed oil to them to kind of get the same effect. So the fact that this already comes like that is a time saver for me. Another thing that I really liked about using this paint was I kind of like the smell. Like, it doesn't smell like any other oil paint that I've used, and I really like to learn why. That's kind of like a random thing. So does this paint mix every single color that exists under the sun? No. There was a couple of places that were a really bright and intense orange in her skin that I wasn't really able to mix, and that was fine. Like, I was able to get like a look that I liked, that I was excited about. You can mix most colors with those paints, and I feel pretty satisfied with how this has turned out. So and those are my final thoughts. I really like these paints, and I hope that you found this video helpful. J.R. Fox here. The painting that you saw me paint in this video is going to be available on my Etsy shop later on this month. If it happens to not be there, but you want a print or something like that of this painting, feel free to let me know in the comments or in a message. You can contact me through my website, www.northernfoxstudios.com. If you want to help support this channel, I do have a Patreon, links below. You can get a discount on the things in my Etsy shop if you sign up for that. And if you found this video helpful and feel like you learned something useful, let me know in the comments what it was, and maybe give it a like and a subscribe. That'd be really cool. Hey, it's always fun teaching you. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Take care. We'll see you in the next one.